Greetings, dear precious spirit soul that you are. That's who you these are even words that never can describe who you are, because you are beyond conception. You are beyond a thought, for you are the thinker, you see. So our topic is receive your eternal inheritance. I've always said this along when I first got what real prosperity is, because I am prosperity. You are prosperity. I'd like you to say that with me. I am prosperity. Say it. I am prosperity. Prosperity means to go forth with enthusiasm. And you start with right where you are with what you've got, because you always have enough to start. In fact, I just had to, this little aside came to me about the story, remember, that was told in the New Testament book that said that Jesus and his disciples fed 5,000 people with just a few little fish and a few loaves of bread or pieces of bread. Well, first of all, Yeshua, as in his scene, was a vegetarian, because that is the natural original Hebrew path, and also it's the path of the Vedas, because they all have their connection, and where he studied for many years as a great teacher, and teaching of who we are, and his own example, and his living it. But anyway, when people would say, "Well, how come you're so lucky?" or "How come you manifest that?" or "How come you're not worried about that?" or, well, I say, I have a mother and father who love me unconditionally, who even enjoy me. And I'm their only child, and they give me anything and everything I need and want that is ultimately for my highest good and benefit in every way. Oh, and I receive my divine inheritance. And they go, "Well, gee, you must be lucky, Well, you have the very same. And I was sharing this picture with Elizabeth, and she's a wonderful person and student and dear friend and adopted daughter in all those ways, because I like to pick up people, because they're gems out there. And then she's working on how we're doing she's done the Spanish version of my book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, and it's going to go out pretty soon and be available on her website. So she's here, and we're working out all these things, and we've been working together for years and years and years. So anyway, when we recognize and we realize who we are, and we recognize and realize that every single person who they really are, to respect their true divine nature. See, most people have a schizophrenic in a sense, because we have an identity crisis. We're identifying with the mind and these concepts and these beliefs and these customs and these roles we're playing and scripts that we're living out and what we're trying to prove, or the thought world. Well, we're the thinker, so thoughts are not more powerful than you are. You are the powerful being. And so what's so cool about when you receive your divine inheritance, when you're endeavoring to help somebody else or work for their welfare, there's no competition and there's no envy, because each and every person could manifest and is manifesting naturally, because that's our ability, whatever they're agreeing with or accepting. And so many people will argue and struggle and fight to try and prove their limited ideas are true and real, and then they validate it in their life by proving it in their life. So they say it must be true. And what is it? It's a thought, you see. It's a concept. And what happens is people go, "Well, why isn't God doing so? If there's a big deal God, why aren't they doing something? Why aren't they wait a minute. This is the realm of thought. Thought is telling you, in the beginning was the Word. This realm is created by thoughts. So if you have the thought that, and you hate yourself, you see, and so therefore you're going to hate everybody else, Or then you're glorifying yourself one moment, oh, how fabulous I am. And the next minute you're on the ground, I'm the worst, I'm the terrible one. Or everybody else is bad and terrible and I'm the good one and they're the bad. You're playing all these thought games all the time. What is it? Because you're trying to be happy. You're trying to get something. And what happens for most people, love, they don't experience love. They experience lust, which means what can I get from you to give me some sense pleasure, some mind pleasure, some emotional pleasure, some physical sense pleasure? How can I use you? Like in the business world, I could use you for this and I could use you for that and I could use you for this and I could, oh really? We use things. You don't use people. We use things and people are not things, okay? So how do you accept and receive your divine inheritance? You have to first know who you are. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm entitled and I can get all this stuff from everybody because I'm entitled to get it. No, that has nothing to do with entitlement. It has to do with who you are. It's like, see, we're equal and we're not. We're the same and we're also not. We're different. And when we get what that means as a child of God, as a divine being, wholeness and feminine and masculine qualities of the wholeness of our being, and whatever else there is beyond that, we may not be conscious of at this moment, but it's like when you use your logic, divine logic and reasoning, then what you experience is that each of us is loved. And we're not judged in that sense by the divine. See, God doesn't beat you up. You know how many people, well, hey, God, if God did this, how come God put me in this situation? The divine, now the fakey false God and all when somebody says, you know, well, God says we're God's people. Well, what God? Oh, not mine. Not mine. So you can do that. I don't do that. And I don't go along with that because that's not absolute truth at all. So when you take your inheritance, you know what that means? Talents, abilities, qualities of being, opportunities beyond this temporary situation. And what happens when we believe that who we are is a meat stick, that we are the effect of the weather, and we're effect of the politics, and we're effect of a government, or we're effect of an education system, or we're effect in everything coming at us, you have to give yourself the moment. And they say, well, why wouldn't God interfere and help us and do this? The divine isn't doing this to you. You're using your inheritance in an inappropriate way because you're malpracticing on yourself by believing lies. You say, or you believe that my inheritance means I'm the big deal here and I'm going to run the world now. He ran and she ran it for us. It's going to be my mom's going to be me. And it's all me. And I got everybody and they're all mine. I got him around like this. That means God and power. No, that means stupidity. That means ignorance. That means not a clue as to your divine inheritance. So much fear, so much lack, that all you do is live in the mind, regurgitating these fear-based, guilt-based, lack-based, limited-based ideas and concepts, projecting them onto everybody else. Stop. Do your spiritual work, you see. And as you do your spiritual work, you become more fortunate all the time. Why? Not because God's making this happen for you, not because God gave you the right Christmas present, not because the divine does that before, but you got out of the way so you could witness and experience what God, the divine, the supreme being, the source of all that we are, not just these bodies, but us, is already happening. It's already in progress. So when you have your intention and you have that desire to enter, to truly know and be who you are and receive your divine inheritance, the act of receiving your divine inheritance is the act of giving. expressing, offering your work, assisting others, thrilled and enthused for their joy of being and all that they are, because your giving is giving to the divine. And in that, you're in the flow, baby. And it's all good. Love you lots. Please share this with others. Know I'm available here, and we're available to serve you in any way that we're capable of. And all you have to do is accept it. And if you're rejecting it, then you take a look at what you believe and what you've been programmed to accept and to agree with and to believe and to live and to function. And it's supporting suffering, is supporting conflict, and even religion is called warship. It's a vehicle of war and conflict when it should be a vehicle of the divine joy of our own beingness. That's the divine experiment. You have nothing to lose to be you, and everything to allow yourself to receive. And how you know you're receiving is you're using it, you're giving it, you're living your life from the fullness of who you are. You're not trying to go somewhere to get something. You already have it. You're going somewhere to contribute. You see? That's the difference. Accept and receive your divine inheritance of your wealthy, divine, unlimited, powerful, divine Mother, Father, whoever you call beloved, who are with you, that you are with, and we're all unified together and individually, and all is well, except you're good.